Hello there, welcome back to this Power BI case study, which is HR analytics in Power BI. 2 days ago, we started this case study and we've done quite a lot. On the first day, we actually imported all our data set into Power BI and performed some exploratory data analysis. On the second day, we started analyzing our data set and building some DAX calculation. Most especially, we performed our employee demographics calculation. We started looking at number of employees by age, by job title, or we also look at employee by ethnicity, and we did quite a lot on the employee data set, trying to understand what the employees that Atlas Lab, a software company, Atlas Lab actually have present, those that are present in the company and those that have actually left the company. So the goal and objective of this case study, this HR analytics case study, is to determine and understand what factors is affecting attrition. So why are the employees leaving the company? And we also need to provide and help the company, probably the HR or the stakeholders, to determine what they need to do to retain employees more in the company. We did quite a lot for the last 2 days, which is day 38 and the 37 of the live stream. So we definitely want to catch up on those live stream to understand this case study pretty well. We did quite a lot of calculation on day 38. We spent over an hour, 30 minutes performing that calculation on day 38. So you definitely want to take your time and understand those calculations. You can see all those calculations on the live stream. Also, the data set exercise files, Power BI files that I'll be using all over for the next 100 days. And this case study is already linked under the description. Do make sure to download this along with me. So welcome back to day 39 and on today's live stream, all we'll be doing is just building the report and combining all our graphs, charts that we've been doing, all the calculation we've been doing so far, to building a comprehensive report that we can actually provide or present to the stakeholders of the company and give them some suggestions on how to retain more employees for Atlas Lab, a software company. So welcome back to the channel where we're trying to learn Power BI over the next 100 days. And my name is Sheriffdeen, and we're actually moving on a good rate. We've covered 50% of the whole courses on Power BI on the DataCamp platform. So without further ado, let's jump back to learning and continue and finish this Power BI case study, which is the HR analytics in Power BI that we started since day 37, that is 3 days ago. So you can see case study HR analytics in Power BI. We have just 1 hour to go. So if I click on career track really quick, let me just show you what we've covered so far. You can see we're actually 50% throughout the whole career track, which is this data analyst in Power BI career track. So definitely after this data analyst in Power BI, the next objective, the next live stream that I'll be doing is the data analyst with Python career track. So you definitely want to subscribe right now and put on the notification bell so you'll be the first to know whenever I go live or drop a new content on the channel. So without any delay, let me click on this data analysis in Power BI and we continue from there. Sometimes to make sure my mic is working fine, just taking a peep at my live streaming device right here. We can think I'm loud and clear. So you can see, so we've covered quite a lot over the past 39 days, rather 39 days. You can see we started from this introduction to Power BI, and we've covered quite a lot of learning. So this intermediate data model in Power BI, we're actually on this case study, and we're on the last part, which is bringing it all together. We want to combine all the report, all the DAX calculation that we've done since, especially on day 38. We did quite a lot of calculations on day 38. So we want to combine all those calculations together to create a good, amazing report and present it to the Atlas Lab stakeholders. So I think after that, we're moving to DAX function. I look forward to this. We have intermediate DAX, and we need to understand to perform exploratory data analysis in Power BI, trend analysis in Power BI. This is another case study. We have reports in Power BI, report design, data connection in Power BI, deploying and maintaining Power. I look forward to this. I hope I'll see you on this last day of the live stream on day 100. Definitely, we'll finish this whole course before day 100. Definitely. So we'll probably just use the remainder of the 100 days to practice, build reports, and analyze some cool data online. Or definitely, I'll be revisiting all this case study already. So let's finish this last part of the course, creating a cohesive report.
Great job so far. You've loaded in your data, created relationships, written some DAX code, and built 3 report pages. In this chapter, we will look to understand more about employee attrition at Atlas Labs. Finally, we'll end this case study by improving the overall visual design of your report. Since adding demographics data into our report, we've uncovered some new insights about our diversity and inclusion metrics. The first insight is that the majority of employees hired at Atlas Labs are between the ages of 20 and 29 years old. A surprising data point from our report is that for the active employees, Atlas Labs employs 2.7% more women than men. Employees who identify as non-binary make up 8.5% of total employees. Employees who identify as white have the highest average salary and make up the majority of the organisation. Employees who identify as mixed or multiple ethnic groups have one of the lowest average salaries. These insights are very useful and can help Atlas Labs review its hiring strategies to make improvements across the board. An interesting question that comes from the insights we've uncovered is, does our demographic insights impact employee attrition? We'll be diving deeper into that question in this chapter. We've covered step 1 in detail throughout this case study. For our first 2 exercises, we'll be diving deeper into attrition at Atlas Labs, so we'll be working within step 1 for those exercises. In our next 3 exercises, we'll be moving to step 2, where we'll be working to improve our overall report design by focusing on titles, colours, fonts, layout, and adding a navigation. In this chapter, we will be working towards having a report that provides insight to our stakeholders and has a clean, branded design. Here is an example of the overview page you are working towards. Time to get back to the case study. Enjoy visualizing!
So this chapter will be quite straightforward. You don't need to do much. So understanding attrition. So if you really want to understand this case study pretty well, you definitely want to start from the data modeling and EDA part, which is day 37, then day 38, which is the second part, analyzing demographics and performance. Then you want to come over to today's live stream, which is day 39, where we're bringing it all together just to present a nice report. So I just launched my Power BI from local machine, my Power BI desktop file real quick. Then I'll continue from here. So understanding attrition. So great work so far. So you've managed to build 3 reports, pages that provide insights to HR, to the HR departments. The last key insight HR is looking for is understanding employee attrition. Reminder, employee attrition, also known as employee churn or customer churn. Okay, customer churn is different from employee. We're talking about customer churn. That was the first case study we did, customer churn in Power BI. You can watch Cardo's live streams from the earlier stage of the live stream on the channel. So it says employee attrition, also known as employee attrition, also known as employee churn or turnover, refers to employees leaving an organization for any reason, voluntary or involuntary. So for this exercise, create a new page in the report called attrition. So if I go back to my Power BI file, let's see. So this is all we've worked on for the last 2 or 3 days. So we start with an overview page. So we're just looking at data in general. We look at the total number of employees. We look at the active employees and inactive employees. That is, active employees are those that are not yet attritioned, and inactive are those that have actually gone through attrition. They've left the company. So from there, we're able to calculate the attrition percentage, which is 16% attrition. We also look at active employee by department. You can see we have more employees in the technological departments, then the sales, then the human resource departments. Those are where there are more employees. So it actually makes sense that there are more employees in the technology department because Atlas Lab is a software company. So they have more technological employees in the departments. We also look at total employees dates by attrition. So this is like a kind of a drop down, a drill down data type. So you can actually drill down or drill up. You can see the employees, the trend of employees by months. You can see the month, then you can see it by quarter, then you can see it by year also. We also did some calculation here. We actually look at active employee by department and job role. So we look at each department and we actually look at what job role is actually do we have more employees. So that was all we did in this overview page. We also So we also look at demographs. We also look at demographic data. This was what we did the second day. We actually look at the employees' demographs. We look at the youngest age of the youngest employee by age, then the oldest employee by age. We also looked at employees by age group. We actually group the ages into age bins. Then we look at each employee that are within that age. So those that are less than 20, and those that are between 20 and 29, those employees that are between 30 and 39, and so on. So you can see that we have more employees between 20 and 29 years of age. We also look at employees by marital status. Then we also look at employees by age and gender. So we have more employees between the 20 and 29, but more male. Males are more prevalent than female. We also look at the employee by the average salary and by their ethnicity. We could see that right here, the average salary, the whites in the company, uh, the average salary is much higher than the rest of the ethnicities in the company. We also look at those that said their ethnicity is other, the average employee is lesser compared to other employees in the company. We did quite a lot. We also created a performance tracker where we could actually select an employee name. We could look at the start date of the employee, the last review date of the employee. Probably the employee has gained a new role, has been promoted in the company. We also look at the next review date that they need to review the performance of the employee. So you could see the performance score by year when you select an employee. You could see, so the graph is going to change and show you the average self-rating and manager rating of the employee by year. So we did quite a lot. So we definitely to catch up on all this from the previous live stream. So we are moving on today to another page. So we are going to create another page and follow the instruction. So the goal is just to follow the instruction and do what you are told to do. Then you have to answer a couple of questions at the end of each instruction to really show that you understand and you got the answer correctly. So for this exercise, create a new page in the report called attrition. We're going to create a new page. So the page will be called attrition. So next, copy and paste or create a new card visual using the percentage attrition rate measure. So okay, next, copy and paste or create a new card visual using the attrition rate measure. Okay, let's just go to the overview page. We just copy this attrition rates, Ctrl C, then Ctrl V. So we have here. So we don't need to create it again, but it's a measure. You can see the measure is attrition percentage. We already calculated that from the beginning of the case study. So moving on, select an appropriate visualization that displays the attrition rate for each department and job role. So we can just copy this again and paste it. So we have to. We want to make use of this attrition rates. We want to break it down by each department and job role. So I could just come to my visual here, go to the department, to the dim employee, click on department, make sure the visual is selected, then click on department. Okay, what I could do is I could just delete this and drop in the measure attrition, percentage attrition. This is going to be a card visual, but I will do it in another way. I can click on the department. I always like clicking on the column. You can see. So if I bring in the attrition measure, it's going to just give me a chart by default. It cannot really make sense. So Power BI, that is, you're making use of Power BI intelligence to help you choose the appropriate charts for your measures, for your calculation. You can see this is the percentage attrition by department. So we have more sales, the sales departments. That means the employees are leaving more within the sales department compared to other departments. So it's quite understandable. But we need to add more and job role. So I just go to my dim employee table and add the job role. Go add the job role. Let's add job role. Ooh, We could actually change the charts. Let's now change. I think this makes sense better. You can see the job role. This is the percentage attrition by department and job role. So the sales departments, there are more employees leaving. This sales representative, sales executive, and manager. So the sales representative are actually leaving more compared to sales executive and sales manager. How about the human resource? The recruiter are leaving more compared to the HR executive. And the technology, we have the data scientists are leaving more compared to, let's look at the engineering manager. Okay, you could see that. So now we like to understand our attrition rates based on our hire dates. First, create a new measure that uses calculate on our inactive employees and make use of this relationship function. Name this measure inactive employees dates. Oh, okay, now let's calm down. This will be extra patience creating measures. Measures could just get quite a lot trickier. So let's bring this here. So we need to create a new measure. Okay, what are we going to call this measure? So the goal of this measure is to calculate, understand our attrition rates based on our hire dates. First, create a new measure that uses calculate on our inactive employees and make use of use relationship function. Okay. So we have a measure called inactive employees here. I said we created quite a lot of measures, so you definitely want to watch the previous live stream to catch up on all these measures. So we have our inactive employees. This is a measure called inactive employee. We only have 237 inactive employees. We're going to be using this measure to create a new measure. So let me just delete that. So okay, well, then we're going to make use of use relationship to combine which tables together. So we need to make sure next create a measure that calculate the rate of attrition based on inactive employees and total employees. Name this percentage attrition rate dates. Okay, so let's create the first calculation first. I'll just go to new measure. So we'll be figuring it out. Then what's the name of this inactive employee days? I want to call it inactive employee dates. So the goal is to understand our attrition rates based on our hire dates. Okay, attrition rates based on hire dates. Inactive employees. So I'm going to make use of calculates. Well, we're going to be using the inactive. Then the filtering is going to be use relationship on which column. So we need to understand the column we want to use the use relationship calculation on. So looking at it, that means it should be the employee and the fact table. Yes, it should be the employee table and the fact table. So let's look at, let me go to the I can't actually go to the data model view for this calculation. Okay, but what I could do is I could say the fact table, I could say the employee ID from the fact table and the employee ID from the employee table. Yeah, so this should work. Let's log that in. So great. So we don't have any error. So we're actually calculating inactive employee dates. So calculate inactive employees. Then we're making use of the relationship between these two tables. We're making use of the employee between this fact table and the employee table. So the relationship between them is based on the employee ID. You could see. You could see the relationship here is the employee ID and the employee ID. So I'm making use of the relationship by default for that calculation. So it's quite straightforward there. If I try to bring it in, let me see. Let me see. So it's going to be showing us 237, same thing, but let me see why. So that way it's going to be, it's returning same calculation. Okay, let me see. inactive employees dates. Okay, I'm coming. Let's move on. So, okay, first create a new measure that uses calculate on the inactive employees and make use of use relationship function. Okay, name this measure inactive employees dates. Hmm. Okay, it says based on our hire dates. Let me look at this second calculation. So I need to pay attention to this calculation. It says we would like to understand our attrition rate based on our hire dates. Should I be using the hire dates column there? Hmm. First, create a new measure that uses calculates on our inactive employees and make use of use relationship function. Name this measure inactive employees dates. So I need to include a date in my DAX calculation here. So I need to figure out the dates. Okay, let me see what we have here. We have the higher dates right here. The higher dates right here. Do you have any higher dates here? We have review dates. We have self rating. Okay, let's make use of let's make use of the let me see if it's going to work. Review dates, then the higher date of the employee. Higher dates. Let's log that in. We'll definitely be getting because there's no relationship between these two columns. Definitely be getting an error. So use function can only use the two column reference participating in relationship. So there's no relationship between those columns. So you're definitely getting an error. But let me just change it back to what we had earlier before. Then I could figure out how to make the calculation work. Employee ID. So it's working fine, but we're not getting the actual calculation that we need to get. Except I want to, okay, let's create the second one. For let's create a measure that calculate the rate of attrition based on inactive employee dates. We need to make use of this calculation back for this next calculation. So I need to get an int. So let's look at the calculation. So similar to how we created total employees dates. Okay, let me look at total employee dates. Total employees dates. Okay, I have a calculation here called total employees dates. Okay. We say total employees, they calculate total employees, then use relationship, dim employee hire date, and dim dates. Oh, okay. I can see my mistake now. But actually making use of the dates column and oh, okay. So for this, so it's similar to how we created this total employees dates. So we are going to make use of the dates column and the employee table, the dates table and the employee table. Okay, okay. You can see that. Let me look at the data model. You can see the employee table here. You can see that it is connected. This employee table is connected to the dates table via the hire dates and the what and the dates. So I was actually using the wrong table for my calculation. So I was using the dates table and the employee table. So if I just go back to my inactive employees dates, I just reference the dates table, date table, and oh, team dates, then I'll reference employee hire dates. Then this should work now. Aha, I can see. So if I try to just look at that calculation, inactive employee dates, it's still going to return the total number of employees, but we are actually making use of the correct tables now. The correct column, the dim date and the employee hire dates. So if I look at the int back, so inactive employee dates calculates inactive employees, use relationship, employee dates, then dim dates. So the percentage attrition rate dates, we're going to divide. Okay, let me see what we are dividing. So next, create a measure that calculate the rate of attrition based on inactive employees dates and total employee dates. So percentage, we're just going to divide the total employees dates. Okay, we're going to divide one by the other. So I could figure that out from this our attrition calculation here. We're going to divide the inactive employee by the total. So we're going to divide the inactive employees dates by the total employees dates. So that will give us the percentage attrition dates by dates. So I want to see how many attrition are we having by dates. So by the higher dates. Okay, that's interesting to see. So that is percentage attrition dates, which is going to be equals to inactive employees dates and total employee dates. Inactive employees dates. Okay, that will be divide. I could just use divide. I prefer to use the divide function. Divide function inactive employee date is by the total employee dates. So we log that in. Then we need to change it to percentage. How many decimal places? Okay, one decimal. But the name of the measure should be percentage attrition rates dates. Percentage attrition rates rate dates. Okay, we named that correctly. So the next instruction is to use select an appropriate visualization that displays the percentage attrition rate dates over time. The percentage attrition rate dates. Let's look at that. Percentage attrition rate dates over time. So it's still giving us same percentage attrition like that, but the rate dates is different than over time. What time are we saying? Are we looking at here? Okay, let me look at this. Say select an appropriate visualization that displays the percentage attrition rate dates over time. Over which time? Okay, if I go to the dim dates, I could just select the dates column. Okay. You can see this percentage attrition by year, and our dates is by level. So you could look at the attrition rates. So if I look at that, so this is by year, percentage attrition by year. You can see in 2016, the attrition was higher. 2020 was higher. Then if you do it down, by quarter, by month, then by day, that is from the first day of the month to the last day of the month. You can see. So you can see the percentage attrition over time, over the year. But this last question is not asking. We are going to make use of this chart to answer this question. It's asking that we have to rename this as percentage attrition by higher dates. Rename the chart attrition by higher dates. We're not even looking at the dates. We could probably Except we are using the higher dates in this case. Okay, let's remove the dates column. I just bring in the higher dates. If we go to the higher date of the employee, let's look at the higher dates here. Ooh, kind of rusty. Partition read by higher dates. That's kind of not good. So you can't use the higher date in this case. Probably consider this is the attrition rate dates. Then if I just bring in the dates column from the dates table for this, the visual becomes really makes sense compared to actually using the higher dates from the employee table. So let's answer this other question that says, the last question says, which department and job role has the highest attrition rate? And that is the sales representative. We saw that earlier. Yeah, the sales representative has the highest department attrition rate. But despite being one of the smaller job role groups in the organization, it has the highest turnover. This is a great insight and can help support decision making and further investigation into why the attrition rate is so high. For that, so the sales department, so sales rep is probably probably they're not getting enough promotion, so I guess they just have to leave the company. That's quite interesting. So let's move on. Now that we have some initial insight into which departments and cohorts see the most turnover of employees, we can add additional context to see if we can figure out what other factors affect attrition. Okay, other factors, probably other factors we haven't considered. Select an appropriate visualization that displays the percentage attrition and total employees for business travel. We name the chart attrition by travel frequency. Okay, select the appropriate visualization that displays percentage attrition by total employees for business travel. Okay, let's see. Let's make this chart visual a little bit smaller. So we want to select appropriate visualization for total employees, attrition rate, and total employees by business travel. Attrition rates. Let's see. Percentage attrition rates. This rate date. Attrition rates by total employees and business travel. For business travel. What do we have business travel here? Okay, employee business travel. Okay, let's see. You can see this business travel column here. So what information do we have in that business travel? If I go to the employee table, okay, business travel, that's some travel, no travel. Okay, we have frequent traveler, no travel, some travel. Okay, that's interesting. So you can actually see. So let's change this to a simple chart. So those that are traveling, so attrition and total employees by business travel. So this is the attrition percentage. One is kind of the, okay, I think the best chart to use is still this scatter plot, because some of the charts, the measures, the axes are not the same. One is in numbers, one is in percentage. But notwithstanding, let's see. Say I want to change the axis. You can see we have this percentage attrition is kind of hidden here. So you can actually see it pretty well. Instead, we look at it like this. Even like this, It's not really showing anything. I'll just stick with the scatter plots. Business travel, total employees. So those that fall between the business travel, some travel have the highest rate of attrition, and we have more employees in that on those that are for business travel. So there are some travel. What about these parts? No travel at all. What about these points here? Frequent travelers. Those that travel, those that have some travel, they have the highest attrition rate is 50%, and the number of employees that are some travels is high. Probably most sales representative though. You can't tell. We name the chart attrition by travel frequency. Okay. Select an appropriate visual. Okay, let's rename this attrition by travel frequency. Let's just rename the chart real quick. Attrition by travel frequency. By travel frequency. Since this chart is still kind of funny, using a scatter plot for the visual. And this attrition by higher dates. We could just leave that for now. So moving on to the next, it says select an appropriate visualization that displays the percentage attrition rate based on whether an employee does overtime or not. Overtime or not. Do we have overtime in our column overtime? Yeah, we have a column called overtime. So let's look at the attrition rates by overtime. Probably those that are doing more work are leaving, or those that are doing less work are leaving. So if I select the measure attrition rates, then I could look at the overtime column. Overtime. Yes, so those that are performing overtime work are actually leaving the company more than those that are not doing overtime. Probably they are getting exhausted or tired from too much overtime. The attrition rate for those is 30%. That is pretty high compared to those that don't perform overtime, which is 40%, which is 10%. That's quite a lot of. We name the chart attrition by overtime requirements. So let's rename this quickly. Okay, interesting. So select an appropriate visual again that displays the percentage attrition rate based on years working for Atlas Lab. That's attrition by tenure. That is the tenure of the employee. Years of working. Let's bring this somewhere here. Let's drop in our attrition calculation also. Then we look at that by tenure. Or do we have years of? Let me quickly look at the table, the employee table. Okay, maybe years at company. We have the years at company. That means years at the company. So years at company. Uh-oh. It is summing our years at company calculation. So it's just summing the years at company. You're not supposed to be summing this. So let's look at it by like this. Better. So you could see the attrition by years at the company. Those that have spent just a year at the company has have the highest rate of attrition, which is 34.5%, which is so high. Those that have spent 10 years at the company has attrition of 0.8. Probably those that are getting spending a year at the company, probably those are the sales representative. They're actually just leaving the company more. That's quite interesting. And if we move on, so what is the attrition rate for employees who are frequent travelers? The attrition rate for employees who are frequent travelers is, let me see, frequent travelers, no travel. The frequent travelers are 24.9%. That's 24. That's correct. So employees who were considered frequent travelers had the highest attrition rate at 24.9%. Are they the one? Nope. 24.9. 15. Yeah, they are the one. They are the highest because the total number of employees here is just higher for those that are some travels. That's true. Interesting to see. So from the chart we've just built, we can see some interesting insights on attrition that can help us prioritize which issues to solve first. We can see from our last exercise that our employees that have been considered frequent travelers have the highest attrition rate, despite only making up to 90% of the total hires. What action would you suggest HR take? So give you travel requirement policy and survey employees on feeling around travel frequencies. Remove business travel. Take no action. This is unlikely to be a reason to be the reason people leave. Increase or introduce travel budget for all employees. And I'll go with the first review. They should review the they should definitely want to do a review. So there's a clear trend between travel frequency and attrition. By reviewing the policy and ensuring that travel is necessary is a great place to start. Getting employees' feedback will be a great way to determine whether this is impacting employee happiness. That's quite interesting. Okay, I think we have one more layout and design. Okay, we want to design our report now. Okay, we've done quite a lot of calculation, a lot of chart visual, a lot of insight. Now let's gather them together. That's quite a lot of work we've done so far. I think we should just gather them to a report and present it to our stakeholders. So now that our visualization has been created, we want to implement best practices to make a visually appealing report that users will engage with on a regular basis. We will start by organizing the placement of visuals on the page. So the page palette has been advised, but feel free to change the color at your own discretion. Okay. So change the canvas background for every page from white to this color background. Change the canvas background for every page. Oh, that's interesting. Okay, let's see. I definitely want to create a new page. I'll just name it reports design. This is just something to start with. I'll be curious how to actually design report better in Power BI. Okay, so let's see. Okay. Okay, we have to change the canvas background for every page from white to this. So I go to the canvas settings, let's go to the format, then canvas settings. Okay, canvas background. So if you change the color, go to more colors and change it to F7, F7, FC, F7, F7, then C. Let's look in the C to it. So I just changed my canvas background to using this X color. Okay, let's log that in. It said F7, F7, FC. Oh, okay. If we could change it to another color, then I think the transparency was 50%. Transparency was 100%. Because I leave it at 0% first. So now we've done that. So next is to, for each report page, create a navigation bar containing the company name followed by the page title. For each report page, create a navigation bar. You can create a navigation bar using the shapes and text box. The rectangular color can be, and the text would be. This may require resizing charts to ensure navigation. So, okay, for each report page, we have the overview page. By this time, I still need to rearrange this overview page pretty well. The demographics page, performance tracker, then attrition. Okay, so let's also quickly arrange this. Just arrange it like somehow. We could just come back to rename to make it better later. I think this should be here. This is much more bigger. It's going to consume more space. Let's see. Okay. I want to make the same audio page feel the same color. So I could just change it back later. But let's see. So let's just arrange first. I think there's something also called the canvas setting. The type should be custom. Then the heights. I've definitely forgotten how the height should be. There's this canvas setting that gives you more space, more real estate that you can use. But notwithstanding, let us just arrange it. I'm definitely not good at report design yet, but we could work up with something. I'm thinking of where there's more space that this can contain, where the numbers can be. This is smaller. Okay, this is quite funny. This is the hard part of the design. But there are other card, there are new latest card visuals you can actually use in Power BI rather than this normal card visual, which I'll still be exploring. Okay, it is weird. This is not being arranged pretty well though. This is nothing but still something. But let's move on to the demo graphs. Even though I didn't arrange all this pretty well, it is still something. And there are a lot of spaces here. There's spaces below here also. You definitely need to know how to arrange your charts just to make sense out of it. Same thing here also. You just agree that this is supposed to be much more wider here. You have a chart here. It's almost showing same results. Okay, we just make this wider, this wider. We have more space here for this. We have more space here for this. See, this is fair, even though it is too wide. And there's just unnecessary spaces, so you need to understand how to arrange all this pretty well to avoid all these unnecessary spaces. This is much more better than the previous arrangements. So unnecessary space here could just be our title over there. Okay, I think this also needs some arrangements. Yes, I still have my own design for this. The longest is this employee start date. Then we have this review date right here. It can be pretty long. So the last review date, the next review date of the employee. Then we have this select employee. Okay, this is still quite better, except the start date is just unnecessarily big. Okay, I think we are getting there. Then this attrition, this where we have quite a lot of charts here. Quite a lot of charts here. I think I'll just love this my line charts. But definitely not making use of this attrition rates. So it's not useful there because we already have the attrition rates covered. If we just make this 4, so we just insert these 4 charts here. I think this makes sense. So we could see the attrition rate by year, then we can just drill down on this chart, even though I want the drill down feature to be showing from above, not from below. Interesting. So I think we've done some justice to it, but it is asking now, let's look at the instruction. It says change the canvas background for every page from white to this. We've done that. So for each report page, create a navigation bar containing the company name followed by the page title. So for each report page, create a navigation bar containing the company name followed by the page title. Navigation bar. Okay, navigation bar. So you can use the insert the shapes. You want to use a shape, company name and page title. Okay, text box. One the text box should be Atlas Lab, followed by page title and overview. Why do we move it now? Okay, so we say we should create a navigation bar containing the company name followed by the page title. You can create a navigation bar using the shape and text box. Rectangle color can be this. 0519-2D, that's correct. 0519-2D. But the text inside text is going to be what the color of the text going to be white. Let's make it 20. Let's make it less. Okay, this is better. It now says and the text could be 03 if f 03f62. The text could be 03 03ef 03ef62. 03ef62. Okay, interesting. I think we just created a navigation bar. Let's make it easy to see. Since it's better, but it's okay. Wow, though. It says this may require resizing charts to ensure the navigation fits. Okay. It said on the overview page, resize and align your forecast visual created in chapter 1 into one row at the top section of the report page. Okay, so let's go to the overview. Let's copy this. Go to the overview page. I think they're telling us how to, let's paste this on here. Interesting. So let's continue following the instruction. So resize and align your fourth card visual created in chapter 1 into one row at the top section of the report page. So the card visual into one row at the top section of the report page. Interesting. I think we need to format this measure. Let's make it 0 decimal places. So our charts our card visual can sit well. I could even make the calculation, the attrition at the top of the page. Okay, let's just quickly design this, format this, the title, total employees. Let's give it a title real quick. Total employees. I think this makes sense. Then we just draw this up. Same thing in this. Active employee, total employees. Then this is going to be active employees. Center it. Just this is just going to be inactive employees. Make it bold. If we just make this also, is the percentage attrition. So make it bold, centered. You could just make it something like that. So we have more space for our chart visual. Interesting. I think we've done justice to this. So that's quite interesting to see it at the top there. We could just make this a little bit bigger. Be 40. The 40 is better. So you can see, so then all this chart visual can just be here. But I think which one is bigger? Well, let's follow the instruction and continue with the instruction. I also want to make this one a little bit big, which I don't think is necessary. You can just make it like this and make this a little bit bigger here and this a little bit smaller. Okay, I think it makes sense like this. So, but let's follow the instruction. On the left side, mark your visual employee hiring trends equal to the width of your card of your. Okay. On the left side, Mark your visual employee hiring trends. What do you have hiring trends here? On the overview page, recite and align your 4 card visual created in chapter 1 into one row in the top section of the report page. So we have it in one row, all the card visual, they're in one row. So it now says on the left side, this is the left hand side. Sorry, this is the left hand side, right here. This is the left hand side. It says mark your visual employee hiring trends equal to the width of 2 of your card visual. On the right hand side, mark your visual active employees by departments, okay, equal to the width of 2 card visual and 1/3 of the available heights, followed by the active employee by department and job role in the remaining space. So you can see. They just want me to place these 3 visual based on the instruction there. But let's give it a shot. On the left hand side, mark your visual employee hiring trends equal to the widths of 2 of your cards. Okay, so I bring my 2 cards here, all the cards right here. So let's bring all the cards right here. But before the card being in the, they didn't mention the actual width of the cards though. So that's quite funny how it's going to be there. Then we could have this here. Okay. So I'm supposed to make this actual visual to be 2 of this card visual, which is going to be actually smaller. So I prefer it to be this way. So I prefer it to be like this. So depend on the way you want to design, once you arrange your charts. So on the demographics page, resize and align your 2 card visual on the left, on the first half of the report page. On the left side, make your visual total employees by age and total employees by gender identity equal to the width of your 2 cards. Place one under the other. On the right side, evenly resize space and organize total employees by marital status and total employees by average salary and ethnicity, one under the other. On the performance tracker page, so I think I've done justice to all the arrangements, but I could just try to follow the suggestion they've made, which I'm going to do that off live stream. On the performance tracker page, resize your slicer and 3 card visual on the far left of the report page. Then resize, space and organize your remaining performance tracker charts and any key tables across the page. Now says on the attrition page, resize, space and organize your 6 card visuals across the page. That's anyhow you want it to be resized. That's quite interesting to see. So what is the attrition rate for employees with 5 years tenure at Atlas Lab? So if I go to the attrition page, 5 years tenure, you can see the 5 years tenure here. That is 70%. The attrition rate is 17%. So that's correct. So their visual arrangement is just based on layout design improvement. It's just based on your preference. But I think I'll definitely be following the instruction one more time. Which then I'll have to be bringing this card visual here, the Atlas Lab on each page. I still need to bring it here. That's quite funny. But let's move on. Then they are suggesting theme and formatting. In this exercise, our primary focus will be cleaning up the color chart and title formatting. You can solve this by individually editing each chart, but in this exercise, we focus primarily on customizing it via a theme. Okay. Navigate to the themes and start by customizing the current theme. Name the custom theme HR Analytics. Okay, navigate to the theme. So we're going to select customize current theme. Okay. Customize the current theme. Okay, let's give it a shot. I'll perform it on this page. Just customize current theme. We're going to ask us to name it. Name it HR Analytics. You can name the theme HR Analytics. analytics. Okay, but we need to, that is the name of the team. Then it says, we'll start by customizing our team colors. We will be using the DataCamp brand colors. Feel free to use your own color palette. Let's look at the data brand color. By default, the general font family is Sego UI. Font family. Let's see. And the table headers font family is Sego UI semi-bold. However, our title and card KPIs currently have a different font. Change the title font to Sego UI semi-bold. Change the card and KPIs font to Sego UI semi-bold and font size to 36. Change the title font to our title fonts. Okay, I think we've named our, let me go back a little bit. Just navigate to the theme and start by customizing the current theme. Name the custom theme HR Analytics. Okay, I've named it. I think I'll click on apply. Okay. Okay, I should be able to see it here. Because the custom theme. I think whatever I do is going to apply to that custom theme. Then it is asking me to, by default, change the title font to UI semi-bold. Title of the font. Okay, you can see semi-bold. I need to change it to semi-bold. Okay, it's going to be Sega UI. We have this bold, but I can't see semi-bold here. Okay, let me select all this first. I'm going to change it to, okay, I think we've done that. Oh, okay, interesting. Then change the card and KPIs font to semi-bold and the font size to 36. Okay, let's edit this size. The cog fonts. Okay, semi-bold. Okay, and the font size to 36. So I think I figured that out. Oh, interesting. What about the title? The KPI of the title. Okay, but the title, I think we didn't change the title. The title should also, let's change it to semi-bold. But we can't just change it to 36. Okay. I can just apply same. Oh, I think we just go with the semi-bold. We just apply same thing to the colored value. Same thing here also. 36. But that should be this. So it will be, I think we should apply same thing to this. That's interesting. Then the last part is this also. So formatting is going to be the, this is an equaling task. You have to do format each card visual, one at a time. But my title here is quite different. It's getting different from my other title here. Dean. Okay, it is Dean. Okay, I figured that out. So you could just see that they are all the same thing. What about this? This is quite different from the rest. Oh, semi-bold. I figured out that you can see it looks quite different from the rest. I didn't choose the correct fonts. Let's move on. Add a background color to your visuals. Okay, to our visuals with transparency set to 90%. 05192D. To my visual background color to all the visuals. Interesting. Background color. Go to the visuals, not the charts. Background color to the visuals. Okay. Plot area background. Well, I think I can background color to the visuals. So add a background color to your visuals. With transparency set to 90%. To my visuals, size and styles. Okay, background color right here. If I go on that background, let me just switch off my camera real quick there. So under size and styles, I can see the background color just below here. I'm going to be making use of this 05192D. 05 05192D. Ooh, that's not good. The background color is good, but I'm going to making sure the transparency is set to 90%. Okay. Transparency is set to 90%. I think this is better. So I'm going to perform same stuff here. Background color, more color, view. Then transparency is set to 90. Same thing here. Background color. Then the transparency is going to be set to 90. Interesting. I think this is much more better to the eye. The background color is cool. The card visual makes sense. So we just need to make sure all our numbers, all our axis labels are bold and easy to see. It's getting much. So I could also perform same thing to each visual in the page, but that will be a lot of time. So I'll just stick to one of this page for now. So let's move on with the instruction. So now click apply and the new theme will be applied to your reports. Ooh, that's interesting. Let's see. Oh, I think I could have done everything right here, right here, right here. Oh, interesting. I think everything will be so I can easily apply it to the rest of the reports. Let's give it a shot. Let's give it a shot. Cancel. I think I could apply this to all the reports. It's not applying. Mm, I think it should be to apply a theme to other reports page. So I think I could be able to apply this theme to this report page. But let's leave that for now. I'll figure that out later. So what is the age of the oldest employee to have worked at Atlas Lab? I think that's 51. Yeah, that's 51. That's good. Because we have it right here on the beginning of our attrition, the demographics. The oldest employee is 51 years old. Oh, wow, we have one more page navigation. We want to create page navigation, but we still haven't figured out how to team formatting our course up. Finally, we'll be cleaning up the navigation for our report by building a page navigation to enable easy switching between pages. I think that will be using making use of bookmarks. Create a page navigator using the navigator tool. Page navigation using the navigation tool. Where is that? So I'm trying to figure out the page navigation. Ah, switch pager. I know I could create page navigation using the bookmark feature here, but I have no idea there was something called page navigation also in Power BI here. Page view, page layouts, pen switcher. Mm, let's see, where could we find the page under the insert tab? Select buttons under elements, then navigate and select. Oh, okay, under insert tab, select button is in the insert tab, button, then we have the page navigator, left arrow reset, back information help. Okay, this is navigator here, right here. Okay, there's bookmark navigator, there's page navigator. Interesting. Let's drop that in. Oh, okay, overview, demographic, performance. Interesting. So we can just click on the demographics. Oh, okay, let's do it one more time. Insert tab, buttons, navigator, page navigator. We have it there. On the page navigator, change the background color to match the header you created. Change the text color to white. Change the border color to white. Okay. Add a filter background with 20% transparency on the page navigator when it is in the selected state. Okay. So let's look at. So change the background color to match the header you created. Okay. So my page navigator has to I think I need to delete this page. Okay, that page is gone. Now overview demographics, performance tracker, and attrition. It could move. It could just be, you can center it here. Interesting. It can even be centered. So it now asks, it says, following the instruction, change the background color to match the header you created. How do I change the background color? Background color, okay. We have size and style. Background color. Put on the background color. It's going to match the header I created. Change the text color to white. I think the text color is white. Let's read the instruction. Change the border color to white. Okay, let's look at this. For change the background color to match the header you created. The header created. So I'm trying to figure out how to make sure the background color formats. Okay, background color is switch off. Background color is switched on. So to match the header I created. Okay. Oh, figure it out. That's interesting. You can make that 90% just like the rest. Interesting. Okay. So the next instruction says change the text color to white. The text color, size and position, visual border no, shadow no. So playing with the settings, rotation star, applying state default. So the text color should be white. That should be style of this is not the text color here. So the style. So you could say the number of pages it should be. Show. I can ask you to show, not show overview. Okay, showing overview right now. Interesting. But the text color is white, so I'll just leave it like that as white. So change the border color to white. Border color, visual border. Just change it to white. Okay, we got that. And the next instruction says we should add a fill background of O3EF62. O3EF62. Fill background of O3F62. Let's see. O3EF62. Okay. Or how many percent? I think 60%. With 20%. We have a fill background there. Okay. On the page, when it is in the add a fill background, transparency on the page. Transparency on the page navigator when it is in the selected page. How do we do that? If we go to advanced option, so we're not being told where to do that, though that's quite interesting. But that is just all of formatting. So we have to understand how to do the performance. Duplicate the page navigator across every page. So you can just duplicate the page navigator. You just right click. If I copy it, Control C, and I could just paste it everywhere I want to paste it. You can see. So if I'm here, it's going to be making sure I'm selecting this place. Interesting. That's quite funny though. There's no way I can drop it here, but you get the drill. You can see I'm on the illustration page. Then I'm on the performance tracker page. It's going to know I'm actually on that page. That's interesting. So to change between each page using the navigator, use Ctrl or CMD while on the Power BI desktop to switch between pages. So if I want to jump from this overview, I'm going to do the Ctrl and just click the page, then to jump to that page. That's interesting. If I want to go back to the overview, holding Control, click on Overview. If I want to go to Attrition, holding Control, click on Attrition. Then I jump to each page that I want to do. I prefer to be in the overview because I'm currently performing most of the design on this overview page. But there's a better way that when you just click without holding Control, because of user interaction, some users may not know that they need to use the Control key to navigate between each of the pages. You can use the bookmark feature to actually create a simpler page navigation. But probably I'll show you how to do that when I create a case study for this. So how many page options did the navigator create? That should be 4. It's 4. So that's quite straightforward. But it's quite interesting, at least coming up with this design on the live stream, very quick, very fast, and something quite simple and great. Oh, this has been quite a lot of hours. This is quite interesting.
Excellent work on finishing up this case study. You've successfully completed steps 1 and 2 of the report development process and discovered some interesting insights along the way. You've managed to build an interactive and reusable report that Atlas Labs HR can use to manage their employees for years to come. The Atlas Labs HR team can now easily navigate key metrics around the company's employees. This will enable the company to make more informed decisions, from measuring hiring to monitoring diversity and inclusion metrics, as well as monitor employee performance and attrition. Congratulations on completing the case study. We've discovered many topics across this case study, from data modeling, exploratory data analysis, DAX functions, and report design. There's a lot more to discover with Power BI, and you're only just scratching the surface. Now keep on practicing your Power BI skills.
Oh, I think I was just close. I wasn't actually paying attention. I have no idea that I'll be presented with the last, how they would look like. Well, I was just close to creating the same exact dashboard that they intended for this project, because I could not see it in the file. This is how the last dashboard should look like, because I'm pretty close to this the overview page based on my own actual design here. But I think they're actually making use of for this other chart here, for this actual chart here, they were making use of 3 maps for the active employees by department and job role. I think I could have made use of 3 map also. I think 3 map is much more better than this card visual here. That's quite interesting to see. I could actually rearrange this. And for this job satisfaction, they're making use of, I'm not quite familiar with this chart type. I think I should figure it out later. That's quite interesting so far. I'll just have to use this guidance to equate the dashboard much more better. All right, I think we've come to the end of this case study. So we're moving on to the next part in the country. That is introduction to DAX. Wrap up. All right. All right, so that will be the end of the live stream for this case study. And thanks for staying to the end. Team, if you're able to stay to the end and at least create a dashboard just like I've did, that's just the beginning. You're getting your hands dirty and trying to create the dashboard as much the knowledge you have so far as you can. I'll see you in the next live stream on day 40, where we'll actually be starting introduction to DAX in Power BI. You don't want to mix this part. That is the most interesting part also, where you need to understand how to write the correct DAX calculation, DAX function, combine DAX formulas to actually create amazing insights from your report within your data set. As usual, my name is Sheriffdeen, and welcome back to the Excel Airline channel. And I'll see you on the next video on the channel, definitely on the next live stream on Power BI. I'll see you on day 40. Looking forward